Great stuff. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another special health focus Tai Chi and Qigong class. Today we're going to work on our 24 form, continuing to work on that. But I thought we might start with a few breathing exercises just to calm and reset the vagus nerve and just to make us feel nice and ready for our practice. So I'd like you to plant your feet, please, shoulder width and level. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath in, and as we do, we're going to use our arms, bring the hands up to the level of the head, and then breathe in again. So see if we can top up our lungs even more and hold for about 4 seconds, and then take 10 seconds-ish to gently release and relax the arms down. So this is called the physiological sigh. Fancy name. Okay, are we ready? So we're going to take a deep breath in again, hold, and through the mouth, like a slow puncture, all the way down, and let your body completely relax. I'll move back a wee bit more so you can see my hands. Good. So in between, we'll do it 3 times. In between, let's just check in with our body and see how it feels. Notice any tension. Breathe into it. Let go through it. Notice any release that you may be experiencing, feeling that relaxation. And then we go again. Ready? Deep breath in. In. Hold. And let go. Good. Let your breath flow again and just feel into your body. You could at this stage do a little body scan, so you could start at the top of your head and just gently feel your way down over each zone, making sure everything is nice and relaxed. Over the neck, the chest, the arms, the midsection, the lower body, the hips, upper legs, knees, lower legs, ankles, and feet. Good, and one more set, please. Ready? Deep breath in. Very good. And again, just let yourself settle, listening to your body, calming down. Good stuff. Okay, so now we're going to continue with a little bit more breath work, and we're going to do rolling breaths. So we take one hand to around belly, around the belly button area, just that area, and another hand around the chest area. Play around with it until you feel your most comfortable position. And we're going to take a nice deep breath and notice the rising and falling of the hands. Ready? Nice deep breath. And out. Feel the roll going on underneath your hands. Deep breath in. And out. Deep breath in. And out. So for me, I feel my belly expand first, then my lungs. And then as I breathe out, lungs release first and then belly. See how it feels for you. Deep breath in. Very good. And relax your arms down. I'd like you to sit up nice and straight, please. Chin slightly down and back. Close your eyes for a moment or two and listen to your body. Listen behind you. Listen in all directions. Good. Bringing your awareness back to your space, back to your body. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and slowly, gently open your eyes. Lovely. Now that we've got all nice and chilled and realized that actually just by following the breath and doing a bit of breath work, we can completely change our state. Let's do some Tai Chi. Up you get, please. Let's get rid of this chair. Very good. So at any stage during your day or night, if you're feeling a little stressed or if you're overly busy in your mind, remember that just by doing a few little breath exercises like that, you can completely release. You can shift. That's why it's called the physiological sigh, because it actually changes our physical function by sighing away that tension. So do give it a go at any time when you're feeling a little bit stressed. Even if you're sat at a red light and you're needing to get on, instead of sat there swearing and wrapping your fingers on the wheel, try doing once through the physiological breath. Just deep breath in, hold, and sigh that tension away, and then see how you feel. And hopefully by that stage, the red light will have gone green. Okay, so let's do a little bit of physical warm-up. Have we saluted? Let's salute. Hello. Cheers. Let's open our stance and we feed into the four corners. See if you can spiral the movement up through your body. So as the hips come forwards, the head goes back. As the hips go right, the head goes left. Breathe and relax. If this is just too awkward or for whatever reason you don't like this version of the exercise, you can just keep your body straight and travel into the four corners of your hips. Let's change direction, please. I might actually share a video, I'm not sure if I've shared it already, of one of my meditation teachers guiding you through that breath. He's very good. He does it all the time. So you don't have to worry about sitting in the lotus position as he does, and you don't need to wear a turban as he does. Just following the instructions, he's nice and clear. That's Bal Jeet Veer Ji. And yeah, I really like studying with him. It's very, very soothing, relaxing presence. I'm a good teacher. Good. Okay, so let's come back to center. And now we do the same exercise, but different, by keeping the body upright, feeding into the four corners of the hips. And just noticing how your body is responding today. You'd be amazed actually, just by wearing different clothing, it can feel very different. So if you try doing Tai Chi in a pair of tight jeans, you'll feel really quite, what's the word, impeded. You find it's difficult to do, whereas loose, comfortable clothing, much nicer. I normally do this practice in my sock soles because I'm on carpet. Today I'm wearing shoes and it feels different. That's okay, different is good, as it lends adaptability, this elasticity for our mind, for our body to adapt. Let's change direction. Maybe you've heard of the phrase neural plasticity. Basically, it means that you're able to do different things in different ways. So I don't suggest you try doing your Tai Chi in a mini skirt or what are those web-like shoes for diving? You know, wear appropriate clothing, but you'll notice even then it's different depending on what you're wearing. Even whether you're wearing synthetic or natural fibers, you'll notice a difference. And I would recommend always, if you have the option, try to wear natural fibers. So your wool, your silk, your cotton, your linen, your tencel, even viscose is natural derived rather than your nylons and lycras. Though I'm wearing synthetic lowers today. Good. Okay, let's come back into the center. You will notice when you wear natural fibers, your energy feels better, and you'll actually not smell so much as if you're wearing synthetic fibers. So all in all, natural fibers are best for energetic flow and for just general staying fresh and comfortable as you practice. So let's lengthen up, please, through the very top of the head. Bring the chin slightly down and back. Release, relax through belly, hips, and knees. And let's do a little bit of Repulse Monkey practice, please. So we bring the hands forwards. We're going to turn in the waist and swing the hand down and up to the back corner. Bring the hand in towards your ear, in front of your nose, and press forwards. Then the other hand does the same. Notice I'm not turning my hips, I'm turning my waist. Good. So you can turn inside your hips, but don't let the hips travel. Ear, nose, and send the monkeys away. Turn. So you've probably heard this story before, but this movement was originally called step back, twist upper arms. And as you can see, the palms turn to face up. Both palms turn to face up as you swing to the back corner. So you're twisting your upper arms. However, there was a miscommunication or a misunderstanding between two Chinese practitioners, one master and one student. The student said, "What's this one called?" And the master said, "Dao Juan Ho." And the student heard, "Gao Juan Hor." So that's twist upper arm turned into Repulse Monkey. Now I have this on good authority from a Chinese master, but of course stories may vary. But over the years, the idea of it being called Repulse Monkey took on a bit of weight, and the allegorical journey kicked in. The Chinese are great storytellers, and we tell stories through our movements in Tai Chi. It helps us remember the movement, and it also helps us to express certain qualities within the movement. So if you think each time as you reach back, the front hand turns, palm facing up to catch all the monkeys, the annoying, hyperactive, upsetting things in your life. And then as you breathe out, the hand that has swung behind sends those problems, send those cheeky monkeys away. So really it was a misunderstanding that started it off, but actually it has served them well. And I think this was hundreds of years ago. It wasn't a new mistake, but there are no mistakes, just happy little accidents. It has worked in our favor because it is a beautiful psychological release as well as a physical movement. We can think of sending our problems away, washing our hands, literally washing our hands of them. As the palms pass, the problems go away. Good, and rest. Well done, take a breath. And they were very clever, the ancient Chinese. I think all ancient cultures actually had great wisdom. I think because they weren't on their tablets and computers and televisions all the time, they had much more time for introspection and actually listening and feeling and taking note of what was going on within the human psyche, the human body, and everything else. So this idea of sending something along the arm and away to help release emotional baggage and turmoil and all that kind of thing. It is used in other therapies as well. There is a style called biodynamic therapy, which is a Reichian therapy, not as in Reiki, the Japanese energy healing, but a psychologist called Reiki. I think he was Polish, but I'm not sure. Don't know. He was a contemporary of Sigmund Freud. He developed a therapy primarily to help release tension and sort of emotional and trauma-based blockages in the body. And his system is all about drawing away from the heart towards the fingertips and off, or towards the toe tips and off, which is really quite different from most Western-based therapies where we're going towards the heart to aid lymphatic flow. And his understanding is quite right that if you go towards the heart, you're helping lymphatic drainage, you're helping to release the physical gunk that has stored in the body. But if you're going away from the heart towards the extremities, you help to release emotional gunk from the system. You're helping to let go of mental stress and distress. And so I think that's fascinating that a lot of the Qigong exercises for de-stress have this sending away quality where we're going along the limbs. Sometimes they would be cutting type actions, but again, the energy would be going out, like left, right, cut mountain. You look behind and slice. You think of extending your field like a laser beam out of your arms to cut through the mountain of problems behind you. So again, a similar idea if you want to release emotions or upset or mental stress. Actually, we think of going away from the center as opposed to towards the physical processors of our waste, physical waste. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let us now have a look at our 24 form. So we're going to use the form actually partly as a continued warm up. So please go gently. You can even we'll do a little stretch maybe for the legs first before we embark. So let's take a step forwards with a wee bit of width, and we'll just go forwards and back, please, and breathe. Now, sometimes clicking joints can upset people. They think that maybe they're doing something wrong or they're hurting themselves. I would say, no, you're not. I've always been like castanets, and it doesn't seem to have any negative effect. However, if you're in pain, that's different. If you're in pain, ease off, adjust, or simply stop. Let's change over, please. And I thought I was noisy until I started training alongside my husband, whose ankles sound like gunshots. He's a very clicky man, but just his ankles. Breathe. And it's so funny, we have a game. If we're training together, we'll hear a clunk and a click, And just by the sound of it, we know exactly where it was in the body. We go, oh, that was a hip. Oh, that was a shoulder. That was a knee. That was an ankle. Good. And up you come. And sometimes you hear a click and I think, oh, I don't recognize that one. That sounded serious. And it'll be someone dropped their phone or something like that somewhere in the building. But it's fun. You can see if you can play that game. If you hear somebody click, can you go, what part of the body was that? If you've heard it in your own body, you'll recognize it in somebody else's. All right, let's do this. 24 International Simplified Competition form. Here we go. Gently does it in the first instance, please. We lengthen up, chin slightly down and back, and take a few moments to breathe and calm. And let's begin. Let's take quite small steps this time because we're just starting. Oh, I thought I was going to make it. Not quite. Keep going. Turn. Plug hole. And not sure if I'm still on screen. G and now I'm going to step forward, folks, because I feel I'm going off screen. Now, if you need more space, take it and turning to the back, left leg lifts, kick, leaning into the kick a little bit. That'll keep you straight. Good. Single or snake creeps down. Turn, turn. Turn again. And turn, turn. Turn again. If you need more space, take it and step. Ban Lan Chui or block parry punch. Good. Okay. Take a breath and chill. Lovely. All right, so that first round, I deliberately did small, high steps. So this is what Grandmaster Chen calls soup. So Tai Chi soup is when you're just basically going through the motions in a high, small stance, not pushing yourself physically, but marking it out in your mind and awareness. So soup does not mean sloppy. It just means light, light Tai Chi. If you had a cold, for example, or if you were recovering from injury or illness, or if you just weren't feeling particularly strong, or like today, you just hadn't done a very full warm-up, it's really nice to do a first time through the form in soup. And really, it is a kind of dress rehearsal. It's a way to remind your brain and your body and just sort of bring you back into that frequency of doing your Tai Chi. So then the next round, you can go a little bit bigger. Also, as you practice in your first go through in soup, you can further identify if there are any little areas that are problematic today, that are stiff or that feel that they need a bit of a stretch. So it's really quite nice actually to do a bit of stretching or a bit of limbering after your first round. So it's good to move before you stretch. So we might do a little bit of that now, and then I'll open the floor to any questions or comments before we do another round, or indeed look at any area of the form in more detail. So let us open the stance wide. Remember, you only ever do what you can comfortably. If it hurts or if it scares you, or if you just know of old that this is the wrong exercise for you, then leave it out. There's no pressure to do everything. We want to be comfortable and safe. So let's lengthen through the top of the head, the chin slightly down and back, and release, relax down through the body. And let's lift one arm up as high as you can. And think, I know I'm off screen here, but think as if a giant is lifting you up by the wrist, So it's stretching you up as far as you can go in that side. And now sit down, release belly, hips and knees. So you're keeping the upward direction and you're adding a release and a heaviness downward. Just like a child being lifted who does not want to be lifted. They'll make themselves heavy even though they're being stretched up. That's the feeling. Now lean into the hip of the side that is lifted and stretch the other hand down the leg. And look down past the foot. Breathe. Good, and recover. We're just doing the one head position today. So there are variations always in these exercises. You can adjust if you like, but we're going to do the other side now. So we reach up and think of being lifted. How high can you go? Up, 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 and sit down. Release belly, hips, knees. So you feel a two-way stretch. See if you can feel bottom heavy, and lean into the hip and stretch the other hand down the leg. Look past the fingers into the floor. Beautiful, and gently recover. Well done. And now you can fix your clothing, check on your body, make sure everything feels okay. If everything doesn't feel okay, then do not pass go, do not collect 200 pounds. Just go back to little limbering, gentle easing out of your stance and see how that feels. Actually, funnily, that feels a bit delicate to me now. But then I've been holding tension in my lower back. So, yeah, and now it's releasing. So if you ever do feel all of a sudden a kind of something happening, don't panic, because actually when we panic, it gets worse. So we'll go, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to breathe into that. I'm going to let go through that. But if it is happening as you do an exercise, I would recommend that you come up out of your exercise. So with all goodwill in the world, listening, feeling and going, oh, okay, that's interesting. I'll just keep doing it. You can end up injuring yourself. So it's not the name of the game. You just do what you can comfortably at the time. And when enough is enough, it's enough. Good. Okay, come and talk to me, please. Are there any questions about the form? Are there any questions about the stretching? Is there anything you would particularly like to focus in on or anything?
No, I'm good. I'm just not warmed up today.
You're not wanting.
No, I didn't sleep well last night, so my body is talking to me.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well, we could do maybe a little bit more silk reeling to further just gently ease your system in rather than trying to do the whole form.
yeah.
Okay, that's good feedback. Okay, yeah. John, anything?
Yeah, the back's playing up a little bit today as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you? I can only see a very little screen of you
Yeah.
at the moment. So did you take part in that last exercise?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And how did it feel?
A week or two ago, I just couldn't have done it. It was fine. I'm feeling it a little bit now that I've done it, but no, I was able to do it okay.
Right, okay, yeah. It's one of these things, sometimes we can do something, it doesn't, if we have an issue, it doesn't mean that we can't do it, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's a question of should we do it?
Yeah.
And really, each individual will either hopefully know the answer instinctually, or very soon after you start the exercise, you'll know the answer. At one stage, I had slip discs in my 20s. And I went to a physiotherapist who gave me the Cobra, which is a yoga move. It's a kind of arching back. I'm sure you know it. It's like that. So you lie
Yeah.
on your front and you lift your chest, and it made it worse. And the exercises that physio gave me made it worse. Whereas I understand that for many people that very same exercise would have helped, but just in my particular situation, whatever way things had gone, It wasn't the right exercise for me. So, you know, often people think, okay, so if you're going to someone, I don't want to use the word guru, but if you're going to someone who is a master, a teacher, or a therapist, then you'll have a condition and they'll know the answer to that condition. Whereas it's not necessarily, you know, it's because we're treating a person who has a condition, and one person may respond really well with a condition to a certain exercise or number of exercises, and someone else presenting with exactly the same condition, apparently, doing those exercises could really struggle. And that's what happened with me, that the physio didn't really help, so it put me off physios. So then I went to a chiropractor who helped a lot with what was called distraction, was tying me to a table that then manipulated, and then they did these very gentle swaying exercises, very similar actually to Tai Chi, though I was doing my Tai Chi every day, which also did really help. But then the chiropractor did a move where there was the same table was able to sort of manipulate and shift in different ways, and they tried this kind of slamming technique to sort of send the disc back into place, and that set me right back, you know. So I spent hundreds of pounds on chiropractic therapy, and it helped, and then it sent me right back to the beginning, and that was the end of that. I thought, do you know what, I'll just keep doing my Tai Chi, and eventually it all settled, and it kind of spits and starts settled, you know. It's all too easy to exacerbate these things. So it's really a question of just see what feels to help, and don't overdo it. Little and often is much better than blasting. So, oh, this helps, I'll do this. You can end up irritating the system. So little bit at a time. And unfortunately, there will be little setbacks, but as long as we are mindful in how we're responding to what's happening to us, hopefully we'll never set ourselves back hugely, and our general direction will be onwards and upwards. But yeah, and it's funny, like some days one movement, just like in Tai Chi in general or life in general, some days one movement will feel absolutely what you need and will just be such relief and will feel so good, and another day you'll do that exercise and go, nah, that's not what I need today, you need something else. So I think one of the biggest lessons in Tai Chi is not what your teacher can teach you, but what you can gain from just experience. So you're in the class, yes, you'll experience Tai Chi in class, but if you keep practicing, you will more and more be able to tune in to your own body. This is the mindfulness practice. You're listening and feeling into what is happening here and now. And the more you listen, the more aware you are of your situation within yourself, the more able you are to gently influence a positive outcome, that you can help things and you can work with your body and move with your body, as opposed to dictating terms to your body to go into this shape and that shape and the other. And by the way, that's the same practice that makes you a good martial practitioner and good at pushing hands, because if you're good at listening to your own body, then you'll be very good at listening to somebody else's body when you make physical contact, when you touch the back of the palms. So it really is a mindfulness practice and an internal journey rather than just walking a path of exercise. So let's do some silk reeling then to ease ourselves a little bit more into a comfortable and functioning body. Now, I've just been sat on my haunches and so I'm a bit numb, right? So I'm also easing myself into a more comfortable and awake body. Okay, so we were doing our step back repulse monkey with our arms. Let's have a little look at the leg work for that. So silk reeling doesn't just mean arm movements in repetition. It's any simple set where we do a loop, where we do repetition. So let's look at stepping back. And for this, we're just going to float our hands about level with our chest. and let the elbows droop a little bit so we are in a nice rounded shape. Now at any stage, if that feels a bit heavy or uncomfortable, you can bring your hands down to waist height, and that will also give you a bit of structure, but hopefully will be more comfortable. But see if you can raise your hands to chest height, and it's a very light bit of weightlifting. You're using your own arms as a counterbalance for your body and to grow stronger. So to the front of your space, please, we lengthen up through the top of the head, the chin slightly down and back, and lengthen the fingers gently down. Breathing and calming down. Listening behind. And let's float the hands forwards and up to chest height. Release belly, hips and knees. Take your weight into your right, release your left foot, and we're going to turn into our right leg a little bit and touch with the left toes. Relax the foot down, the heel will naturally roll in. Feed the weight back and lift the front toes and turn them in a little bit. And they turn in by you turning your body a little bit to the left. Lift the front heel and draw in and repeat. We touch to the corner, we relax the foot down, we feed the weight back and the front toes turn in. We lift the front heel and come in and touch with the toes, relax the heel down, feed the weight back, turn the front toes, lift the front heel, draw in, touch with the toes, relax the heel in, down, feed the weight back, turn the front foot in, and rest. Well done, take a breath. Now you might think, oh, that's a lot to remember, there's so many fiddly bits, but actually if you look at it, it has a rhythm, which is so important. Rhythm, our bodies love rhythm, they just flow when we're in rhythm. And you can just say to yourself, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. If you just watch me doing it for a moment, you'll see what I mean. Toe, heel, weight back, toe in, lift the heel, in, toe, heel, front toe, front heel, toe, heel, front toe in, front heel lifts. So there's this continuous toe, heel, toe, heel, and it becomes this beautiful natural flow. Should we do it one more time together, please? Let's try. Now we need to listen behind us as best we can. Keep your awareness open behind you. By doing that, you're not going to career into a wall or into a person. You are aware of the environment a little bit more. And that opens your awareness all around. It lowers blood pressure and it helps you feel more stable and calm. So this is the equivalent of blindfold practice in other martial arts. In Tai Chi, we don't do blindfolds, but we do listen behind us. And stepping back is one of the key moments where we're focusing on that skill of paying attention behind us. So we're using all of our senses behind us, but you're also using the sense of touch. So you're literally feeling into your toe, feeling into your heel, and if you touch anything, you know to stop. So we don't just ever throw the weight back. We, little by little, check that the coast is clear, and then if it is, we continue to move. So let's try one more time. Lengthening up and releasing, relaxing down. Placing the arms, hand, toe, heel, 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 and rest. Good. Okay. So having a rhythm, being aware of where our foot should be, helps tremendously with our feeling of balance. Listening gives you that assuredness that you're not going to hit something. Yeah, let's put the arms and the legs together for step back repulse monkey. So we're going to start this time with the right foot turned out and the left foot extending, the left arm extending. So if you see from the side, you should have this three harmonies look. The hand is above the feet, the elbow is above the knee, the shoulder is above the hip, and the other hand is underneath, like so. So we don't want to overextend or underextend, and if you do, instantly you'll feel your strength go. So when we have the three harmonies, you'll feel structurally strong. Without using much in the way of muscles, you'll feel strong. So there we go, there's our Sohui Piba position. We drop the toe down and swing to the corner. Bring the front foot and the back hand in, touch to the corner, foot down, feed the weight back, and as the toe squares up, the hand passes, goes forwards. And repeat, as we reach, we lift the front heel. We draw in and step, heel in. As the foot comes forwards, turns forwards, the palms pass. Repeat. 1, lift the heel. 2, draw in. 3, touch, heel in, toes in. Reach. Draw in, touch, foot down, palms pass. Well done, and rest. Take a breath. Good. How did it feel? I have to come close to see. It was all right? Yeah? Yeah, good, good. Okay, John, I'm going to pop you on mute. No, actually, you're quiet as a mouse, so I'll not worry. That's okay. All right. So, where do you look? That's a good question. And it's a question you hear a lot in Tai Chi. Well, where should I be looking? Well, first of all, never look at your hands. Because if you look at your hands, then if your hands are moving, the world around you comes a blur. So from the martial perspective as well, if you're looking at your own hand, you're not going to see clearly if people are coming towards you. So you look always into the distance, but you do use your hands as a guiding, as a focal point. So if my hand is in front of me, I can look past my hands. And that will also help me get the height of my hands correct, because if my hand is too high, all I see is my hand. Again, it's getting in the way of my full vision all around me. So I want it to be really about the level of the chest. If you see that, it's the level of the chest. It's not up here, so that I can easily see above my palm. And as the other hand passes, the fingers are pointing up, I can still see. Whereas if I was about level with my nose, as the other hand passes, I'm getting in the way of my own face. And again, no structural integrity, it's not strong. So we keep it about chest height and press. So we're looking forwards as we press forwards. However, as we swing the hand down and back, what gives us the best peripheral vision is actually if we keep our eye line between the two hands, as opposed to looking beyond the backhand. Now, I must admit, sometimes I do look back a little bit more just to see what's happening and use my peripheral vision. But if you keep your gaze sort of midships between the two hands, you have a really good peripheral vision. You're keeping an eye on what's happening in front and an eye what's happening behind, and then you can continue to push. So often, if you're applying this, I don't have anyone with me here to show you the application, but someone grabs your wrist and you turn it and catch their wrist. You've caught the wrist to then create a lock. So if you've caught someone by the wrist, you should not be looking behind you. They're in front of you, you've got them. So you can use your peripheral vision and then push them. So the eye line is important, and the eye focus is important. Almost more important than where you're looking is how you're looking. We want to keep the eyes focused at all times, because when the eyes go blank, maybe we're concentrating on how something feels. I've even been known to close my eyes doing my Tai Chi practice to feel the movement, which is nice as just a general little experience, but it's not great for martial arts. If you close your eyes, you're less likely to know someone's attacking and you might lose your balance. So keep your eyes open and keep them focused. Do not let your eyes go blank because you're listening to what's happening too much. Because when the eyes are focused, the energy is focused. But in general, we follow the leading hand. So for example, in cloud hands, we look past the raised hand. It's considered the leading hand. So we are really just sort of ping-ponging back and forth, left and right. So if in doubt, find which one is the leading hand and look beyond it at the height that the leading hand is at. So with snake creeps down, for example, we're looking down beyond the hand. We're not looking forwards. We're going down. But you don't just look down at the earth, you look down and then beyond, which is opening your awareness to your surroundings. Gosh, where does the time go? Okay, let's finish off with a little rotation of center. And breathe. Good, and let's go down to the legs. And the lower legs. Ankles and feet. Up the body again. Some days we just feel stiff for whatever reason. And again, my go-to would be magnesium. So if I had the time and the resources, I would have a nice hot bath with about 5 fistfuls of Epsom salts. It's a very, not ancient, I don't know, is it an ancient practice, but it's certainly a traditional practice here in the West. And it's very comforting. The heat of the bath dilates the blood vessels and releases muscles, just the heat alone. But then the magnesium helps with muscles and nerves, and the salt aspect also dilates the blood vessels. So it's a really healing practice and very soothing, and add a few candles and some music, maybe a glass of wine, and you've got yourself a really nice a nice experience. I don't do wine, but I used to make a hot chocolate or a tea or something to take and have a bath, but the funny thing happens that actually our system can absorb a little bit of water through the bath as well. And so often, even if you thought, oh, I could do with a cup of tea or whatever, by the time you've had your bath or get into your bath, you don't feel thirsty. And I've heard of this happening, people sailing, out on the sea, and they're used to drinking a lot of fluid, and they find they're just not as thirsty when they're surrounded by water. So maybe we're absorbing some of that water in other ways through our skin, who knows. But please do stay hydrated, but I would definitely encourage you to have a nice hot bath. And if you don't have the option of having a bath, maybe go for a foot bath. You know, even you could get a bin and clean it out thoroughly and put some hot water and some Epsom salts in. Even soaking your lower legs, it'll still have a nice soothing effect. Remember, the hands and the feet set the tension in your whole body. So if you could have a reflexology treatment or just massage your hands, make sure your hands are nice and warm and your feet are nice and warm, that may actually also help the rest of your body feel more comfortable as well. Okay, folks, we're out of time, so let's just take a nice deep breath, please. Breathing in and out. Showering with energy in and out. Deep breath, and hold your breath at the top, pressing your fingers into the sky. Press your toes into the earth. Think of sealing in your good energy, and breathing out, guide your hands down to cover center. Hug your elbows gently in and breathe, feeling into your center. And feel your energy is stronger. Well done. Thank you so much for joining me today, folks. Please get yourself a nice hot drink and snuggle down if you have the time. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.